Greetings, Hope Church. Greg, one of the pastors here on staff. And I just wanted to let you know a little bit about what this video is going to have. We just got back from our Apex high school mission trip to Minneapolis. Apex is the student missions arm of the Free Church, and we got to partner with them, and then they partner with some other ministries. We got to work with the homeless in a couple of different ways. We got to work with underprivileged students in a couple of different ways. And as a body, we are so thankful for the support that you've given, but we also just wanted you to hear from some of the participants and the way that God impacted their lives and the things they learned and the way they feel motivated towards the future. So thank you so much for the support you've shown of this trip, and I hope you're blessed by hearing what God's doing in the lives of those who got to participate.
In one of our morning devotionals, there's a line that said that we all deserve a second chance. So that later that day we were feeding people off the street, and that gave me a chance to really think about that devotional and view people differently in the image of God.
And we would pair up in groups of two. It was me and Karlie Anderson, and we were walking around. We were both kind of nervous, and we went into this one store and just started talking to the lady about how COVID affected her store. And then we asked if we could pray for her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, sure." So we prayed for her, and then right after that she just started she broke it down into tears.
One guy that really impacted my life was a person named Hal, and just talking to him, he actually expressed that he needed housing, and that it was an urgent thing that he doesn't have. So as a group, we prayed over him and asked that God would give him housing, and we actually went back to give them dinner again. And so I got to talk to Hal, and he told me that within the hour he got a call that said, "You have an appointment for housing."
We met this man from Ecuador, and he was telling us about his shop and how he was supplying his shop with materials made in Ecuador by other people in Ecuador, and he was giving them a chance to get out of their situation. And it made me realize how you can affect other people from helping them even with a little thing.
Typically work with the middle school kids, but was given an opportunity to go with the high school kids up to Minnesota. The one night we spent with feeding the homeless people, and Lydia and I sat down at a table with this gentleman, and lo and behold, he started sharing the gospel with us and asking if he could pray for us. And it was an experience that just kind of flipped the tables on how God works.
We were out on the side of a road, and we had a fold-out, white fold-out table, and we were serving the homeless. And at first I was kind of nervous and scared because I've never done street ministry where you go up to random people, and I've never really, let alone talked to a lot of homeless people. So I was kind of nervous and scared because, they're in a different situation than I am. But as soon as I started, I talked to this one guy, JR, and he was the first person I talked to. And after I talked to him, he was just super, super nice and kind of set me at ease. And I got to hear his story and how he came to being in the situation that he is. And on that moment, I realized that people are people, and I still need to spread God's love to everyone, because just because someone's in a different situation than I am doesn't mean that they're still not made in the image of God.
The biggest thing that I took away from the trip was just that I need to be more intentional in my relationships, not just with who I make them with, but in the ones that I already have, making sure that I'm sharing the gospel with them.
This trip really impacted me in the way that I kind of think about my life going forward in ministry. Going into college, I really want to join organizations like this and help young kids get used to talking about the gospel, talking with homeless ministries, talking with kids, and doing those things. And so it was just a really cool experience to be able to take a new perspective on a lot of these things.
One of the biggest impacts that I had on this trip was working with this girl named Jada. It was really cool to see how God could use me in her life, and even though I was just there for a few days.
I worked with my wife in Cubbies back 13 years ago, and about half the kids on this trip were Cubbies in the Awana class as we taught back then. So to see them at this stage in their life and their walk with Christ was very encouraging.
We by the end of the trip, we were one big unit, just a big old family supporting each other. That was pretty cool.